Welcome to Crappens. Don't wait a week for a new video. Join our Patreon at the Crappens On Demand level for instant recap access. Link in description. Enjoy the show. Well, hello, and welcome to Watch What Crappens, a podcast for all that crap we love to talk about on Yeo Bravs. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the show. I'm Ronnie. That's Ben over there. Hello, Ben.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing great today. How are you, sweet man?
I'm doing phenomenally, thank you.
Well, everybody, welcome back to Real Housewives of Atlanta. We took a couple weeks off for a mental health break, okay? Because they were promoting it. They were promoting it a lot on this show, so we took
exactly
their
right.
advice. Yeah,
that's exactly right.
I just pretended my sister worked for Amen for a while and took a break. And I'm ready. I'm ready to go.
Oh, yeah.
So we're back. Mondays
we're
doing every other Monday we're doing a live an Instagram live. You guys know what that is. We're trying out different things. So join us next Monday, August 21st. I guess that would be the 21st.
Your
something
birthday
like that.
week.
Yeah, party, and join us at 5:30 Pacific time, 8:30 Eastern time for Instagram Live. It's like our old show, Take a Seat, but now it's called Crappy Hour. Okay, it's going to be super, super fun. It was this past time, so thanks for everybody who came. Also, we've done a few Project Runways. That's what we did instead of this, so check those out. We've got bonus episodes. This week's bonus is a shot-by-shot breakdown of the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City trailer.
Oh, it's good.
If anybody needs some insanity in their housewives, that's where to find that. And today, really, what we're here to do is recap this episode of Real Housewives of Atlanta.
Yeah, back in the ATL to check in. Let's see what's. You know what? We're back in Atlanta. Let's see what's going on in the crazy world of Kenya Moore. Maybe she's up to something hilarious or interesting, or she's starting trouble somewhere because she's a villain. So she's like she's gonna start a feud, get a storyline going. Let's see what she's doing. She's doing karate with Brooklyn.
Yeah, and I still have to say, I'm still rooting for Brooklyn. I'm like,
yeah.
kick her ass, Brooklyn, take her down. And then we go over to Marlo, who's still faking this thing with the guy from Chopped, Scott Lee. And he's saying he's at his restaurant, which I think he's the manager of, but I guess you can call it your restaurant. I guess when I go to the gas station, I'm like, hey, I'm at my gas station, because it's my neighborhood gas station. I don't own the gas station. I don't know if that makes me a liar or not.
Dare to dream.
Marlo says, I miss your lamb chops. So you can tell these two have grown really close, because that's still what she knows about him.
Well, it's unclear if she's chops. Well, it's unclear if she's referring to actual meat lamb chops or just like he had sideburns that were really bushy.
Oh, I thought you were going to make a sexual thing. I was going to say, no, Marlo's very virginal now.
Or I was just going to go mention Sherry, what's her face?
Yeah.
What was her name? Sherry,
the puppeteer with lamb chop. Who had her fist up somebody's butt. Do you want to talk about fisting again today? I know that's been on your mind.
Sherry Lewis. the one who brought fisting to the children, Sherry Lewis.
So then we go over to Candy brushing Blaze's teeth, and Blaze hilariously swallows the toothpaste, which leads me to a question. I saw this gum. Okay, so I've been chewing gum lately. I'm a very addicted person. I'm no longer snorting cocaine, which has really sucked. Miss you cocaine. It's been a while. I mean, that's not like anything new. Cigarettes, quit that. Vaping, quit vaping. I'm not eating much because I'm trying to lose. Like I'm quitting everything. So I decided to chew gum. That's like, it's either that or like sexual addiction. And let's be honest, I'm too lazy for that. So I started chewing gum again, and they have this kind of gum that's called tooth whitening gum. That cannot be healthy, right?
Well, why wouldn't? I mean, I don't think it's an issue of health or not.
You're swallowing the bleach. Doesn't that bleach your liver or whatever your gastrointestinal system?
I have to hope and pray that it is not poisonous, but I guess I would consult your dentist. Or you know what? I'm going to my dentist.
Consulting that fucker. He's going to charge me $300 to consult me for anything, and then pretend I have a cavity when I don't. Fuck that guy. No, I don't trust anybody.
I'm going to my dentist this Thursday. I will ask him.
Are you dating your dentist? You're literally always at your dentist.
No, it's because I swear to God I have like a microfracture, and like Like he keeps on saying it's just I've got high points, and so therefore, like if like a seed gets in between the high points, and then like the teeth, it creates a wedge. That's what I'm feeling, but I don't think it's just high points.
You have
Okay,
a wedge issue.
because
It's like a presidential election
yeah,
in your
you
mouth.
know, listen. I'm not saying I know dentistry more than my dentist, but what I'm saying is whatever he has diagnosed, this is not working. So I'm
I
going
feel like
back
your
to fix the
dentist
problem.
is the guy at Pet Boys who you go in for an oil change. And they're like, your brakes are out. You need 50 things done to your car. And you're like, okay.
Dentists do have
Got
a
a seat in my
reputation for
gas
that.
tank. What?
Dentists do have a reputation for that, and there used to be a hygienist at the dentist office who used to always upsell me on stuff, and it was so annoying. And one time she actually, well, this is full circle. So one time she was like, "You should really be using this toothpaste. This will just be so much stronger for your teeth." It's like, you know what? I'll get it. And it was this like high fluoride toothpaste, and fluoride you can't actually swallow it. That's actually poison. And I had to be really careful when I use this toothpaste. I was like, you know what? Fuck this toothpaste. Fuck this upsell. I hate this. So full circle to your poison in the mouth oral care issue is that I've gone down that path before.
Yeah, they can't overcharge me for stuff. One thing I think that helped is just that I'm old now and I don't give a fuck and I have a very angry face. I just give them my Kathy Bates from Misery face whenever I go in there. If they're like, Ronnie, you have a cavity. I'm like, when's the next chapter? Like I give them that face and they just stop asking me for things. They just want me out of there. Like I look like I will take an axe to their legs. And people stop trying to fucking rob me. They even stop trying to fix me. Sometimes they'll send me out of there with the cavity just because they're scared of me.
Let me tell you something. I feel like they don't like me at my dentist office because I gag. I have a gag reflex, and like that's the most annoying thing ever for dentists.
Well, I'm glad you're not dating one. Okay, so Blades brushes her teeth. It's great. So then Drew and her sister and their assistants or her assistants are in this big rental house. And Drew's like, oh my God, this property gives whoosah. Yeah, because it's free and somebody's donating it to you and you don't have to pay the bills. Okay.
Yeah.
And Ralph's not there at the moment. I feel like any building Drew walks into without Ralph there feels like whoosah. This feels like a whoosah moment because Ralph hasn't rigged it with secret cameras yet to tape you with footage that he's going to use against you later. Okay.
I feel like Drew may not also know what woosah means. She may be confusing woosah with whoosah. Like who saw me in Step Up because I was pretty good in that. Anyone? No. So she is there because this is where she's gonna be having her mental health getaway, and there's a guy named Denon Smith who's like, "Can you please tell me about this mental health getaway? I'm very fascinated about this." And then, by the way, we never see him again. And Allison, the
I know.
sister,
Who let the Airbnb guy on the show, by the way?
I know.
What the fuck do you care? He's like, we can only have 6 guests. Get the fuck out of here, okay? You're not.
yeah.
We're renting it from you. We're not renting you. Leave.
So Allison's like, well, it's so important to be ahead of brain health so you don't wind up in a psychiatric ward like me. And
Allison, do you literally need to cry again during this? Stop crying. Stop it now. At some point, somebody needs to say, Allison, stop. Just stop it.
so there was a rumor on the internet, and this is a rumor. I don't know if there's anything that is substantiated. I think, can I say this rumor? Because this is my favorite rumor.
Yes, but hold on. I just have to apologize to Allison. I'm sorry, Allison. I know there's mental health things going on.
I'm like,
I know. I
Also-
know that was terrible, but seriously. Okay, go ahead. No, I shouldn't
Okay.
have the but seriously. Just I'm sorry, okay? I'm sorry. I get frustrated. Okay, go ahead.
no, because you know what it is? Because her pain is triggering your pain. Hurt people
I
hurt
guess.
people.
I mean, I guess,
Mental
but
health
I've
getaway.
learned to bunch it up and keep it inside and start worrying about, whitening teeth gum or
Yeah.
cocaine or whatever, like that's my cope. You cope your way, I'll cope my way. Okay. I apologize for bitching at you about how you're coping. You go ahead and cry in that Airbnb all you need to. Go
And
ahead,
now
Ben.
Alice and I apologize in advance because I'm about to speak about a rumor that we both heard about.
man. Get her,
But
man.
it's a rumor. I don't know if it's true, but I just love it. As like, some rumors you're like, oh, that's a stupid rumor. But some rumors you're like, oh, I love this rumor because I don't know if it's true. Probably not true, but I do love it.
Justin
a
Bieber's a
rumor-
lizard person. I love that rumor.
Justin Bieber is a lizard person. Yeah. We can verify. As you heard in the New York recap, we saw him in Tribeca, and we can verify like 97% lizard. The rumor that we've heard is that or I guess it's not a rumor, it's conspiracy theory. This is actually better. It's a conspiracy theory. Some people have a conspiracy theory that Allison is actually Drew's mother because the math about Allison working on a man, etc., it just doesn't add up or whatever. I haven't actually done the math. I did all my math for the week yesterday when we did Aaron and
Real
Gwyneth
Housewives
Paltrow.
of New York, yes.
That I can't do. Amen math is gonna be hard for me right now. But I love that theory that Allison is secretly Drew's mother. That would make so much sense and so fascinating. That's the kind of thing that Atlanta could really use.
Well, I have that in my family. I have that kind of setup in my family. My cousin, my aunt Brenda had a son, but was unable to take care of her son at the time. And the story goes she left that son on our doorstep. We were born 2 weeks apart, which is also fascinating, right? You get pregnant the same time as your sister. I think there was some competitive shit going on. And then she was like, you take him. And then my mom couldn't. So my Meemaw raised my cousin Matt. So he was my cousin, but he was also he's my cousin, but he's also my whatever. You know what I mean? Yeah, I mean, interesting, I guess, but not that crazy to me because I'm just used to it.
No, it's not crazy. It's just it would be. I just think it'd be an interesting twist. Also, it wouldn't be the first time that we have heard about this happening on Bravo this year because let's not forget it's the traumatic backstory of Rachel Leviss.
Oh yes, that's true. Except that she was not raised by her grandmother. She was raised by her aunt, right?
Right.
I think the sister was trying to. I don't know. You know what? My dream of my life turning into a movie was always that somebody would die. This is, by the way, how horrible I am. I'm I hope someone dies and leaves me their baby. That's someone that I love.
You
want a horrible dream.
You basically just want to have reboot that old show Kevin Hill and just have it be about you.
Yes, I wanted that to be my sitcom life. It's where they're dead and now I've got this family. It's oh my God, Ronnie's a dad now. What's gonna happen?
And Joan
also,
from Mad Men is there.
I always kind of wanted to raise kids, but I didn't want to have a relationship or pay for them or I don't know, do any of the work that's necessary. Change diapers, any of that. I wanted somebody to die, but not till the kids were I don't know, 7 or 8.
Just lurk around the fire station by that box. You can probably solve a lot of problems.
They're too young. Those are babies in boxes. I need a 6-year-old or a 7-year-old.
You don't need a HelloFresh baby. You need a. You need a child that's a little bit on its way, past potty training.
Yeah. So okay. Also, Allison is there after talking about how she no longer works for Drew. She's there wearing a Drew Sidora T-shirt, which I don't know. Okay, so Allison's get ahead of brain health, and Drew, which I don't think works. I don't think you can be took my brain health today. It's better. It's proactive, not proactive, preventative. I don't think there's such a thing as preventative mental health care.
Of course there is.
Is there?
What are you talking about? Meditation.
It's never worked for me.
Meditation, masturbation. I think really just the two big M's. I think those
you should write a book because that, honestly,
aren't those the things? That. Meditation, masturbation, mediation, manipulation,
mastication. Is that
mastication? Aren't there more M words that end with Asian?
Is anybody even still here? I feel like now we're just talking to nobody. Okay.
So Lily, can I tell you about Disneyland this weekend?
No.
I can tell you about.
Okay, so Drew's so you guys know that Allison was my manager my whole life. So, to see her, of course, Drew immediately makes it about herself. She's so to see her go through something real, it was weird for me, guys, because she was always the strong one. And then that's when I began to make it about me and think about my own mental health. I was wow, if someone who's a big enough fan that is still wearing a Drew Sidora sweatshirt everywhere they go can have mental health problems, maybe I could too. So this is how Allison's mental health is now about me. I was wow, very well done, Drew.
Yeah, there's some weird vibe between Drew and her sister. It's more about Drew. I feel like Drew is subtly undermining her sister while claiming to be boosting her up. Like on the surface, this is all like, yeah, like I want, like my sister went through some shit and I want to support her and like bring her, like what can we learn from her and bring her message to the masses. But there's kind of like, I feel like she's like very much, I don't know, there's like a vibe of undermining. Like, my sister, she never really had a life of her own. She just really only cared about me, and she cared about me so much. And then she stopped working for me, which is too bad because that's when she had her break. And, like I kind of can't help but wonder if maybe she just kept working with me and working for me. Like she'd probably be okay. But anyway, I've learned so much from her, even though she's weaker than me. But, I'm glad she's back to work for me because that's really her only option in life. Amen, obviously, is still not on the air. So anyway, love her.
It is odd to bring your sister on who's been having mental health issues as your storyline to me. And it's all what makes it weird. And everybody is like, whatever, that really happens in families. Yes, I get that. But what also happens, and we all know it happens, is when you go on reality shows, assholes like us have an opinion about everything. And listen, we're assholes. The people on the internet are a million times worse than us and have a zillion opinions. And I just don't know that it's good for your mental health to go on a reality show, especially Real Housewives shows where people are like, you're ugly.
Yeah.
Like,
I
Real
mean,
Housewives people have no problem just being like, you're old. Get off the stage.
That's not even your sister, it's your daughter.
Exactly.
I mean, look, I do like as much as Drew. I mean, I think Drew is so ridiculous. I do think that I think it is good that she came on because look, we're sitting here talking about mental health. We're at least talking about it, discussing it. It's in our mindset. We're talking about like how we can meditate and masturbate.
I'm definitely meditating and masturbating this week, and I'm going to see and masticate. Those are going to be my three M's.
There will be
I'm going to see how it
mastication.
works for me.
There will definitely be
I'll let you guys
mastication.
know.
But yeah, I mean, I think I like that there's a story about mental health, but I just feel like with Drew, it is funny because it does feel very self-serving. She's like, my sister went through this journey, but I'm the one who's really having mental health issues.
Yeah, she's using it to further herself. So she says, my sister told me that her divorce is what caused her mental break, and Allison is hugging her and crying. And I wrote Jesus with the crying. And then Drew's like, and so the goal is to open up a conversation and learn because look at my marriage. Of course, it comes back to Drew's marriage.
Her marriage was 100% fine until all of a sudden she announced that it suddenly wasn't fine. Really, because Ralph was going to Vegas, because the Magic Mike producer, like the most contrived, suddenly the marriage isn't working twist. Like nothing made sense there. Well, actually, it does make sense because their marriage was never fine, obviously.
Oh God, their marriage is a horror show. It's a horror show. He's terrible. Like no matter what we say about Drew, this guy is just the fucking worst, as we will see as this episode goes on. So she talks about how it's difficult in the African American community to talk about mental health. And then we meet Dr. Gettings, which I love that name. It is spelled like getting, like you're getting something, which I love. I mean, talk about like just being open to blessings, like that being your name, like Dr. Getting.
She's like, it actually isn't better to give. It is better to receive.
Yes. And
she's like,
guess
Gettings.
What clinic she's from? The Amen Clinic. You guys.
Is she? I
This
didn't even
is like
notice
the
that.
perfect person to be on this episode. Yes. And the sister wrote for Amen. So here we go. And this is
my
somebody
God.
from the Amen Clinic. This is
We need Anna Marie Hornsford. That's what we need right now.
and someone is where I think Dr. Gettings is in a full leather pantsuit in Atlanta. So trust her with your mental health, but not your sweating health, because that sounds very hot. It sounds like a very hot outfit to be wearing. Atlanta's a very hot place.
Also, don't trust her for her fun time because then Drew's like, okay, so we'll set up a bar. And Dr. Gettings, the first person in the history of Bravo, was like, maybe you don't have a bar. I don't think that alcohol is good for mental health because, of course, Bravo loves to to throw booze at, like, okay, we're going to have a group therapy session. Everyone, here's some champagne. So Dr. Gettings is like, we're going to have some options called functional drinks as opposed to, I guess, dysfunctional drinks. I don't know. It has supplements like GABA and that will help you relax. And if you need more GABA, just say, yo, GABA, GABA, and we'll get some more for you.
I took umbrage with calling alcohol a non-functional drink. Why the fuck do you think people drink it? It's extremely functional. It's called therapy in a bottle. Okay,
It's
not
literally-
all of
it's-
us can afford the Amen Clinic, ma'am. Okay, some of us can only afford Dr. Charles. What's $2 Chuck? Charles Schwab, not Charles Schwab.
Oh,
Charles,
we like it's been rebranded as Jessel Vineyards, but
Charles Shaw.
Charles, you know what? Listen, alcohol is so functional; it is literally served at functions. So I think that's the proof.
And I'm high functioning when I drink it. So suck it. Okay, everybody involved in
I
this
don't want
scene?
GABA. I don't know what GABA is.
Fuck GABA. Yeah, I don't want to take
No
that.
GABA.
Okay, so then we go to Sonia and Ross, and they were looking at close-up baby pics or something, and Sonia's saying, Sonia's like, "Oh, are you talking over? Sorry, I can't hear you over the sounds of my new Rolly," because he bought her a new watch, I think.
Yeah.
And so they're like, "Oh my God, we have a Rolex now! Isn't it? We have another Rolex! Boom!"
Yeah, they've got a new addition to the family, a Rolex. So Sonia,
Turns out, guys, spoiler alert, her Rolex is pregnant. We're about to find out.
she's giving birth to a Rolex, and her Rolex is also pregnant. It's a teen Rolex pregnancy. So so she's like, so we have a lot to talk about and think about as like a family, and like I feel like you were gone, and like we never really had a chance to dive into it. But I did take some notes just on things, because why not take notes on things? You want to flip through this notebook real quickly, Ross, and see if there's anything to look at in the the notebook that you might want to look at, Ross. And he's like, okay, what?
Yeah, this
So
was
he's like,
super smooth. And then there's a pregnancy test in there. And he's like, "What? Is this real?" She goes, "It's real. Oh my God, it's real." And so she's like, "I'm so excited about the future because I'm pregnant." So now they go to the living room to tell the family, where
right
everyone's
again.
gathered, like, what the fuck do we have to do now? Because every time Sonia asks anybody into the living room, she gives them a to-do list. I don't believe that she ever is like, "Hey, just wanted to gather everybody to say thank you and to give you popsicles." No, it's always to ask you to do shit.
It's always, and they know what's gonna happen. They know that Sonia's gonna like look at the ceiling and like blink a lot and pretend to cry and be like, "It's just like really hard for me right now. It's like a lot of things I have to think about right now, and I just like it's making me cry." So they just don't want to. They just don't want to even hear it. So they've gone into this meeting saying, "Okay, everyone, remember, stay strong. It's 2023. Let's just tell Sonia we're moving out and we don't want to take her shit anymore, okay? It doesn't matter what she throws at us. We don't take her shit, okay?"
Uh-oh, she's got her prop notebook. What the fuck is in her prop notebook? What is it? And she pulls the same trick. You're going to pull the notebook trick again? You
I
need
know.
something smoother. You had T-shirts printed up for this, and you're using a notebook. Where's a beef patty? Put the fucking thing in a beef patty.
I know.
And tell somebody
That's-
to taste it.
That's a delicious. I think
Yeah,
you know
that's
what?
how to do it.
You know what's really upsetting to me? I just realized something. We're probably due for a gender reveal with her. It's gonna be the worst.
You think that's going to be... Do people still... I thought you weren't allowed to do those anymore. I think those
Awful
are on
people
their
do
way out.
them. Awful people do them. And if people in our audience have done them and they're like, "But I did it," I'm like, "I'm so sorry. You're probably a wonderful person, but you did something that awful people do. And you just have to live with that."
One of my friends just did it, and I wasn't offended. I was just like, I don't care.
But like, yeah,
I
who
literally
cares?
don't care.
I literally don't care about the gender of your baby. Okay.
Yeah, I'm. Guess what? I'm buying your baby the same thing, no matter what gender they are. Nothing. Okay, I'm getting your baby the same thing they give me for my birthday. Jack shit. Okay, so get off my Instagram feed. Mute. Don't
care about your baby.
Yeah. So they're like, "Oh my God." Okay. So then she has sweatshirts, so printed, right? That they're wearing. Does it say? It says we're pregnant.
"We're
but they're
pregnant."
standing out of order. Are they standing out of order?
Yeah. Well, no. What happens is Sonia's wearing the we're, and Ross is wearing the pregnant, which it really should have. I feel like it should have been the other way around. But I think that's what it was. But so what happens is, because you read from left to right in English, and so she's thinking, okay, we read from left to right. Therefore, since I'm we're, I'll be to the left of Ross. So then they turn around, but when they turn around, the sentence is in reverse. So it says pregnant we're, and I'm like, wow, okay.
Well, thankfully, they've only printed out 7 more outfits to do this for the rest of the episode because everywhere they show up, they're in a different outfit that says pregnant wear. I'm like,
I,
really? Are you going to get it fucking wrapped on your car too? Like, congratulations. But
I feel bad for
calm
every
down.
employee at Starbucks who had to endure Sonia walking in and saying, could I have a latte and your name, please? We're pregnant. Thank you so much. Thank you.
So everybody, freaks out, obviously. And the dad's like, bop, 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 bop. And she's like,
Take
I have
the
a
mama
t-shirt for
moment.
that. I have a t-shirt for that. And yeah, and the mom takes a minute, yeah. But they get excited, and Sherry's like, we're still moving. So
Yeah.
congratulations on having a baby that I'm not going to be here to raise. We'll see how that's going to go for you. Okay.
Yeah, that was great. She just nipped that in the bud. She's like, yeah, this one you're doing on your own. This is your own baby. You're
It's not
gonna get a
funny.
nanny or a robot. Okay.
I love Sherry. She's like, we're pregnant. Sherry's like, we're looking at apartments. And the mom's like, yeah, we decided to live in the same community. And Sonny's like, oh, so you guys have already found apartments? Well, I guess this is going to still be great, even though my family's moving out and my husband's never in town.
Yeah, I guess I shouldn't have alienated my family before having this baby.
Yeah,
Whoops.
this is not going to work out great,
Yeah.
guys. Like, you kicked your family out and then you got pregnant. Think. You don't get rid of your free health care and then kick off you what?
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
But
it's okay. Maybe
congrats.
she recruit some people from Mommy Nation. Maybe that'll help. So
Takes
now
a
we go.
village.
It takes actually iVillage, isn't that what she was doing her video for? I don't remember. So now we go over to some sort of Dave and Buster's type place where Drew and Ralph are they're on date night and they are there. They have Gail Simmons as their waitress, which was really cool. And they're all excited because it's date night. And Drew tells us date night is very needed. Ralph and I have not been keeping up with our weekly date nights that Dr. Ken suggested. And I just want to make sure that all the things, I'm doing all the things to make sure this marriage works. It's not working. Marriage isn't working.
Yeah,
not
it's
gonna
not
work.
going to work. One date night is not going to save anything. And she does what Ralph hates the most when she goes on a date night and then talks about all their problems. It's like,
She does that
like
every
how many
single
times?
time.
Which, by the way, Ralph is the asshole in this situation, and I'm glad that she brings his ass on camera to read him for filth because he wants to just come on and pretend everything's perfect every time. He's like, if I get a strike, you got to call me daddy, right? If I beat your score, then I beat your score. Because he doesn't get the strike, of course. So then he changes
Right.
the rules as Ralph does constantly. So he's like, okay, well, now if I beat your score, then you have to call me daddy. What's your obsession with everybody around you calling you daddy? Aren't you already writing some fake book? Did that book ever get published that he has the giant poster of himself
Oh, the step
that
in
we see later?
parenting?
The step in parenting. Yeah, we see it. That his office, we see he has a big office at home with a giant blown up stand-up cardboard poster like a Blockbuster Video of himself.
Yes.
Of that fake ass book. That
Let
then
me
he
go
leaks
check
his
the
wife.
Kirkus reviews to see if let's see. I'm not seeing. Maybe Publishers Weekly has something about the step in parenting. Surely Michiko Kakutani at the New York Times has a review of this. No, I must have been overlooked by these outlets, but I'm sure the book has been released and is doing quite well.
I'm looking it up. The step in parenting, it has a .com. So pre-order. Oh, pre-order today. Whoops. Just left the family that I was writing this about. Kind of tried cashing in a little too late. Ralph, asshole. This guy's such an asshole. He's disturbing to even watch on the TV, I have to say.
A lot of a lot of bad timing with some of the cast members on this show right now. Okay, with dealing with the family planning and capitalizing off of it or taking advantage of it. They're really just not quite getting it right.
You fired the free nanny, okay, in the scene before this, and then you write a whole book about being a step parent and then leave the family before it's published. I
Wait,
mean,
by the way,
come on.
Okay, so I would like to say something. The step in parenting has not come out yet, but what has come out, it came out actually very recently, June 18th, 2023. Reflections, A collection of stories and manifestos from the Man in the Mirror by Ralph Pittman. So let me read. This is on Amazon. Ralph Pittman is a husband, father, actor, speaker, businessman, and entrepreneur. A native of New Brunswick, New Jersey, Pittman attended Rutgers University, where he graduated with a bachelor's degree in business economics while also studying music theory. And then it's just basically it's just basically saying like that.
Who
He
cares
married
about
Isadora.
this? Let's read the reviews because it's got
Okay.
1 star.
It's got okay. We've got okay.
Oh, no.
So
Oh, no, I
the
was
first
looking
review.
at
There's
something
two
else. Oh.
reviews. The first one says printing malfunction. Either I got a bad copy or there's a printing malfunction that needs to be addressed. Once I got to page 5, I noticed the book started over from the beginning. If you look at the video, you'll see the same sentence over and over from beginning to end of the book. Oh my God, no. Wait a
And the
second.
next one, what's that?
That's the
noise?
Amazon video. Sorry,
Oh.
It's looking at proof that is the same. Oh no, it's like a copy. Oh my God, I've never
What?
seen this before. Of course, Ralph's book.
No one even like tried
It's
to
just
proofread
5
it.
pages, copy and paste it, and print it out. I'm sorry.
No way, it's 5 pages.
It's somewhat like her. This person's copy is first 5 pages, and then it loops and loops
Oh my
and loops
God.
till the end of the book.
Oh no. So the second review is, was this self-published? This was a terrible book. Weird that he would self-publish a book on being a great step-parent and then go and divorce the mother. 2 people found this helpful. What a piece of shit this guy is. Okay, so back to it. We're on this fake date night, and he wants her to call him daddy. And he's like, babe, did you enjoy the holidays, babe? And she's like, yeah, it was one of the best Christmases, honestly, truthfully, because it was just like simple, honestly, to tell the truth, I just have the most with family happening and the most, everything's going on right now. I have a family stuff, Allison, for example, she's constantly asking me for shirts with my name plastered all over them that she could wear in public. And, then I've got my album that's just flying off the Spotify. And then, I closed that movie deal today that is being paid for by a friend to keep her lame-ass husband happy. And, helping Allison with that Airbnb mental health retreat that's not going to have a bar. So super busy life.
Yeah, it's just stuff has been happening. I mean, hold on, I got to take a call from Ron Howard. Excuse me, Ron Howard. I'm at date night at Not Dave and Buster's. Thank you. Just a busy actress. So I'm realizing I need this mental health retreat as much as I thought as I was doing it for everyone else. In some ways, me like being in a small movie and releasing a song, that's almost as bad, if not worse, than everything that Allison went through. I kind of feel like maybe I'm the one who has the mental health challenges here.
I'm sorry, but I kept this window open. This Ralph Pittman Reflections, the collection of stories, can't just be a collection of stories. It has to be, and manifestations. I've collected my manifestations into a book. I've collected mine as well. They're in a yellow bag called peanut M&Ms. Okay, get over your fucking self. Okay, I closed it. I can't keep going. He's staring at himself in the mirror on the cover. He's just taking a selfie of himself in an iPhone portrait mode in a mirror and then selling the book. I can't.
So we're selling 5. He manifested 300 pages out of 5 pages of content.
Okay.
So
So she's telling us that Ralph had a problem with Dr. Ken because Dr. Ken started holding him accountable for his own behavior, and she's chosen to stay in counseling, guys, because she's like super serious about mental health. And surely she's been in counseling this whole time, because just because Ralph doesn't want to go doesn't mean she's not going to go, which, by the way, is a total lie, because then we find out she has not been in therapy. She's just having another session right now for TV.
So Drew doesn't want to put any pressure on Ralph. And then, which of course she is doing. And Ralph is like, one of the things I feel with marriage counseling is just, it's a difference in experience, I think. And like, sometimes you get to a certain point where you're like, you really need to focus on the work and you need to start applying it. And I feel like with counseling, it's like this topic and then this topic and then this topic and then this topic. But then it's like, but then that's going to like get us divorced. And like, I can say that I've had less blow-ups than I've had this last year. So like, congratulations, because like, instead of acting like an emotional terrorist, I'm only sort of acting like an emotional terrorist. So you should be happy with that.
And then we see clips of Dr. Ken called you a maniac. And he's like, you don't even know what maniac means. I tried to give her a steak and lobster that night. And that night, she deserved a Lunchable. Which is
So then he goes,
line. As
I
much
know.
of an asshole as he is. So then he's like, don't you agree? Because she's basically laughing at this guy, being like, oh, look, I'm already better just by myself.
yeah,
Crazy.
I have reflections, and he's like, I'm doing the work though. Okay, you have to measure in the frequency of making sure it can reduce the occurrences that they can actually happen. This is very intellectual what I'm saying right now. It's like
I love that
literally
you
not
paused
making any
and
sense.
rewound that 5 times too, didn't you? Because
I got every word. I
I
was
was like, what? What did he just say? Hold on, let me do a 30-second rewind. And I would listen again and be like, wait, no, what? And then I realized it had been 30 minutes. And
You have to measure it on the frequency of making sure it can reduce the occurrences that they actually happen. This is very intellectual, what I'm saying.
wow, Ralph. It's extremely intellectual, Ralph. Thanks.
Yeah.
And Drew's like, yeah, well, I graduated early and don't really understand what you're saying. So listen, she's like, I can't force you, but I can still go to therapy by myself. But, it is important for you to meet me halfway because I'm not single. And I also need support because I'm going to be doing this movie and it's going to take me away for 10 days. And that's going to take me away from the house and the kids. And he's like, okay, well, there's going to be a problem because, got to be honest with you, because congrats on being booked and busy, but I've always been busy. This is nothing new for me. And I'm going to step up, no pun intended, as much as I can. But the bottom line is I make the money. So I'm not doing shit, is basically what he's saying. Which maybe if you had made so much money, you should have paid that new nanny you were trying to hire before
Yeah.
you screwed her out of all the money she asked for the 2 days you actually used her.
Last time I checked, you guys have like 5 assistants and Allison and the mom who's always around. I think that someone can I think we can figure out some daycare for 10 days with this family. So Drew's
He's
like,
like, the step in parenting. I will not step in and parent. When needed for 10 days. That'll be $25 on Amazon.
he's literally refusing to step in. So Drew's like, I'm not gonna lie, I think it's important for you. Oh yeah, you just said this part. So he's like, well, I make the money. And Drew's like, okay, well, you see Todd, he has daddy daycare. And Ralph's like, I'm not daddy daycare, okay? He doesn't travel as much as me, okay? And as much as I'm going to be. I mean, 2023 is gonna be a challenging year. Where are you traveling to? Because it better not be Tampa.
Yeah, it's like, do you know how many waves are going to be in Tampa this year? So the producer asks her, do you think anything happened between Ralph and the video producer when he traveled to Vegas? And she's like, no, it's just, the fact that could even cause a wedge because now we're not on a solid foundation. And so he's like, listen, we're going to be a different level, all right? After all of this, I just said how I'm not going to support you. I'm not going to help take care of our child or be a help at all. I'm going to say now, listen, in the future, I want us to be Barack and Obama. And she goes, Barack and Obama? So you want to be Obama and Obama? Where's Michelle in this equation?
And he's like, oh, I'm drunk. And she's like, you just forgot you have a wife. Okay, I swear, you just forgot you have a wife. So now we go to Kenya's house, and
God, he's horrible. That man
he's
is
terrible.
terrible.
He did a good job. He made it almost through the entire season with the facade that he had changed. I mean, we all knew it was a facade, but he kept it up almost the entire season, but he couldn't do it. He couldn't make it the whole way. So now we're at Kenya's house, and Candy shows up, and Kenya's like, I got shrimp salad. And she's talking
Shrimp
about
and kale, by the way, of course, because she's still pushing fucking kale me out. Or
kale me crazy.
Kale me
not
crazy.
Not kale me, maybe.
You've
Kale
got
me crazy.
Kale.
You've got Kale. Kale.
She's still
Can't.
trying to push this Kale narrative on America. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, now at this point, what's his face? Mr. Kale Man isn't even bothering to show up. Roy, return on investment. He's like, nah, I'm just gonna postmate this to you. I don't even want to show up. That driveway's too steep. So
So
yeah,
she's like at Brooklyn's new school because Brooklyn is sitting with her in the diary room. She's like, at Brooklyn's new school, we have to have cloth napkins every day, right, Brooklyn? And she goes, where do I tell you to put your napkin? And Brooklyn's like, in my lap, but my teacher won't let me. Kenny's like, and I don't know why not, because that is where napkins go. And immediately you just see that Kenya is that nightmare parent.
yeah. So Shamia comes over, and which we haven't seen Shamia all season, and they're just like chatting, and then Kenya says that she's thinking about having another baby, and we see a split screen of Shamia being like, "Oh," and Candy being like, "What?" Like her face just scowls. She's like, "Who's gonna be the daddy?" And she's like, "Well, I still have frozen embryos, so Mark." And they're like,
Yeah, and
bad idea."
Kenny's like, I'm a little bit concerned about this. And she's like, so he said you could use those? And she's like, well, when we sign the paperwork, it says only I can use them. Oh, one person can use them, and that's me. And Kenya's like, there's so many things that could go wrong at this point, so I would need to use a surrogate. And we find out that Shamia is using Shadina, who was Candy's surrogate for Blaze. And so now Shamia's using them, and now Kenya wants to use Shadina as well.
Yeah, and then Candy reassures Kenya that
Word of mouth. I'm telling you, the word of mouth and surrogacy, you can
Yelp
just work
reviews are great.
forever.
Yeah. So yeah, then Candy's talking about surrogacy and like how you still have the same amount of bonding. And you just have to prepare yourself that everyone's gonna call you vain. Everyone's gonna assume that's because you don't want to like ruin your body, etc. And then Candy's like, so if Mark doesn't give you the blessing for this, are you gonna do it anyway? And Shamia's like, I would proceed. It's like, Shamia, no, I feel like we're getting close to the end of the Mark storylines. I don't think we need any more entanglements from him in this show.
That's what's so weird about it. Why would Kenya even consider tying herself even further to this guy?
Yeah,
He's a monster. What the fuck, dude? Like,
exactly. He's terrible. So then they're like, okay, let's gossip about people. So Shamia's asking if Sheree is still dating Martell. And then Kenya is like, well, guess what I heard? I heard that Martell didn't even pay for Sheree's birthday dinner. And it was Marlo and Sonia who wound up paying for the meal.
yikes. And then we see 4 days ago, Sonia telling Kenya, I mean, it was $1,500. And Kenya's like, oh, please, I spent $1,500 today. And Sonia's like, yeah, I mean, if that's your last $1,500, I don't care. You should still be paying the bill for your girlfriend's dinner. Like, what the hell?
Now, excuse me, because let me just put on this sweatshirt and bend over. And if there happens to be anything on the back of my sweatshirt that you happen to read, go ahead there. You're not going to read it, huh? Okay, I'll wait for a group trip. Okay.
So Candy's like, well, I didn't even get invited. So, the people that she did invite were all going in on her man. And Candy's like, yeah, he asked the ladies that were there to cash app him.
I'm sorry. I think that is
horrible.
Listen, Martell, you're on TV and you're like a real estate person or like a guru or whatever Martell calls me. You have to be able to pay like to front that. I'm sorry.
Agreed, but also I can't believe Sheree allowed that. Sheree needs, and we know that Sheree doesn't like to pay. Like, that's her story. That's literally her storyline on this show. They call her Sheree Don't Pay. So, okay, I get it. But you invite your friends all to this birthday dinner, making them think you're inviting them to a dinner you're hosting, and then you make them pay? That's some bullshit.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
Yeah.
When you're not like 20. I think it's
Yeah,
different when we're all like young and broke and we're like, hey, let's go to dinner and, we'll all split the check at Chili's or whatever. But it's very different when you invite everybody to like a fine dining place or a really expensive place and your boyfriend, and then you make them pay for your birthday. No.
No, I mean, I think honestly, I think it's fairly standard that if you go out with a group of friends for your birthday, the friends all buy the birthday meal for you. I get that, but like I kind of feel like if you have, I feel like Martell though. I don't know. Like I just think in the context of Martell as this like real estate person, he's already like a celebrity and all this. I think he should have paid for the whole thing.
I think in Real Housewives world, you don't let your friends pay for your expensive birthday dinner. I think that's gross too. I think it's both
Yeah.
on both on gross your parts. It's gross on both your parts. That's what I think. Don't invite me.
Yeah.
I would never be invited, but I would not pay. I'd be like, sorry, I don't have Cash App. Nope, don't have Venmo either. Oh, what's Zelle? Who's that? Someone's kid? No.
So now we go to Sheree. She's with her dog Gotti at the groomer, and Sheree's telling us she's like, I've dealt with a lot of dogs in my life, but Gotti is number one in my life, and he likes to be cleaned. He's a great listener, like Martell. Gotti is the ideal partner. Now listen, Sheree, Gotti seems like a lovely dog, but you're trying to sell me on Gotti, but you literally named him after like a crime boss. Okay, like I'm just saying. Like you're making it hard for me to trust your judgment on these men and these dogs.
I love Gotti. I think that's a badass dog. That dog has a lot of saliva. The dog is like,
That's why
it's just
we're
like
not
pouring
it's
out,
non-negotiable.
just pouring out saliva.
No.
So Martell calls while she's in this this groomer, and you can tell she's never been there. You know, she's like getting a free grooming, so she's shooting at this place to get something for free. And
Yeah.
it cracks me up because she's obviously never been there, and she's just getting all the free stuff that she can, and she's trying to make it look like, look at me, just living the rich person's life, going to get my dog groomed while I'm talking to my fabulous husband, not knowing that the scene before was about how cheap her boyfriend is, right? So then Martell calls and he's like, yeah, on the way to the airport, on the way. What's going on with you? Okay, gotta go. Click. And the
I know.
producer's like, so how was it for your birthday? And she goes, oh, he got me an Alexander McQueen handbag, which I gotta tell you, I was shocked. And well, I don't want to say this because I'm not gonna keep it, but he doesn't believe in expensive high-end labels.
Yeah. The last bag he got me was Threshold by Target. So she's like, I see a future. You know, it's been about 6 months, and sad stuff. Our relationship is that we're enjoying life. It's fun. It's complicated. It's a lot of things. I'm like, well, I don't know if you. 6 months in, I feel like it shouldn't really be complicated. But then further evidence that she's never been to this place before. They ask her to sign up for their rewards program, and so she gives her email, which is like beep at AOL. And she's like, yeah, I still use it, and they're all laughing at her. But that is so Sheree that of course Sheree has an AOL, an AOL email.
So then we go to the past table read, and it's awkward. There's clarinet music playing, so any kind of clarinet music on a Bravo show, you know it's going to be awkward. So here we are for Todd's big movie, and she's like, I just have so much going on, guys. You know, the script and the music. Hi, Candy. You know, just so much going on. God. My sister's wearing sweatshirts with my name, so that's been big. That's been a big thing. And this, pretty much, 10 days.
Yeah, they asked me to re-record the Amen theme song, so that might be weird for my sister, but I've been really working on that. You know, I think
I
it's gonna
just
be
did
great.
that so I could get free help from Dr. Gettings at the Amen Clinic. Not really even sure they have the rights to use the Amen theme song, but we're just going to go with it and keep our fingers crossed, or pray if you will.
Turn on the light from heaven, Lord, shine on me. Sorry, I'm just getting my vocals ready. I've got a lot going on. By the way, if anyone if anyone had any doubts about whether or not Drew Sidora was an actress, this scene should prove to you that she is one, because this is like the thing in LA. If like actors and actresses, this is what they talk. This is what they say when you talk to them. If they're like not working, they was like, hey, I've got a lot going on. I got a lot. There's just like so much going on right now. Like I got like my classes. I just booked a gig in my bedroom to read some lines, to read some sides with a friend. It's just like so much is going on. I'm like, okay, Drew is definitely.
Soups Bez. So Drew's like, but Candy, you did get that text from my mental health retreat, right? And Candy is like, oh my God, booked and busy, right? High fives. They're just being totally fake to each other. I also just have to stop and just point out I think this is kind of a problem with Bravo in general lately. This is the second mental health retreat we're watching in a row on a show. The first one I can kind of let slide. The second one, we're not here to watch you guys get better. We're here to watch some mess. So I don't know what kind of modern bullshit this is where we're here to watch you guys all heal, but no, that's not what we're here for. So cut the shit out, okay?
Yeah.
Fucking mental health retreat with no alcohol. Get the fuck out of here. Are you guys even, is anybody at work anymore? Is anybody there? Who's turning on the lights over there?
Wait, are you saying that you're also not like fascinated by this thrilling content of watching them do a table read for The Pass, the first movie that's actually based on its experience going to studios? Pass, 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 pass.
Todd's finally named his experience in meetings at Candy's got him.
It's a meta script. It's a script about what you're about to do with the script.
It's like
Pass.
every review of Blaze. Okay, so Todd's like, I just want to welcome everybody to a table read. I've just been really insecure about it. You know, should I do it? Shouldn't I do it? But then my wife's like, babe, just go and do it. But then I'm like, but should I? And then she hands me a sack of money. So I did it. You know, everything happens at the right time. And so let's make some magic.
And then Todd and Candy are in an interview together, and Todd's like, right now my priority is already it's like the restaurant and then the movie. And Candy's like, really? Like, you're guilting me into all this bullshit and the movie's not even your priority? And he goes, well, it sounded good. Candy's like, Todd really needs this movie to happen for himself because, like, my career has been the priority, and he has been supportive of my career and the things that I've wanted to do. And Todd's career, well, Todd doesn't really have a career. Todd just sort of stands next to my career and just sort of basks in its glow. So we're gonna do something for Todd.
Yeah, and she's saying it right in front of him because they're doing the confessional together. And she's like, yeah, it's been about my career, so this is for him. And he goes, don't tell me what I need to happen. And she goes, you do need it to happen. He goes, yeah, I do. I guess it's just more of a passion thing. Yeah, because if it was more of a, like, actually you wanted to work thing, you would be taking screenwriting classes. You would be, like, writing and trying to sell this to other people and not depending on your wife to pay for it for you.
And hiring actors beyond the cast members of the reality show that you're on. I mean, like, Drew,
Right.
that's fine. Drew is an actress, despite everything. Like, she has a CV. Candy has done acting, but then we see there's like Shamia and Monietta are in this movie too. Are we gonna like get Shamari from a few seasons ago? Are we gonna like pull up like, I don't know, Brielle Bierman?
Deshaun.
Deshaun
Snow's there.
Snow.
They're like, okay, Deshaun, it's time for your line. She's just doesn't say anything. It's like, Deshaun, anything? She's like, nope. Even scripted, Deshaun gives nothing. It's crazy. So then we know that Drew is the real actress in the room because she's wearing a turban, guys. So it's Drew's for real, guys. She's wearing a Gloria Swanson turban. Wow. So we see the read, and they're like, kitchen, evening. Manetta, a lawyer, stands in a kitchen with papers that have words on them. Moneta says, would your client like to respond to this evidence? And everyone's like, yes, that was what a great film.
Interior, Baptiste home. Nina, evening. Nina pours a glass of water for Etta Franklin, her mother. She hands it to her. And then there's a lady on Zoom who's like, where's the rich bum? Is he on one of the business trips? And Drew's like, Ma, don't start. He does pretty great consulting. I just hope I don't get so busy that I won't have time to grow a family. It's like, yes. Yes. Oscars.
Mom, I love the sweatshirt you are wearing with my name printed on it. Thank you for the support. Is that from Fendi? So they all applaud, and Todd's like, guys, I swear none of this has to do with my life. No one wants to think of you fucking Todd, okay? Candy or anybody else. Just no one cares, okay? Give them their $5 for the day and let them move on. Also, we know it has nothing to do with your life. It has to do with the movie that you ripped off for this fucking story in the first place.
But I don't, that being said, Todd has always been a very creative person, and he's always been like, he has always tried to get things going, and I have to applaud him that he finally realized he could just go to ChatGPT and ask it to write a script for him. And I think great resourcefulness, Todd.
So, Drew's mental health retreat. Oh, God, here we go. And we all have to wear white because this is about mental health. I don't really understand.
That didn't really make sense to me.
I was like, are we dying? Because that's like what
we-
happens when you go to heaven. You like get your white clothes. You know, it's like,
Are
are
we
we going to die while we're meditating? What does this have to
know.
do with wearing white?
Are we recreating Linda Hamilton's experience in Terminator 2? Like, why? So, we're at this retreat, and there's like green juice shots and everything, and people are arriving. I have to say, I'm very happy that the arrivals did not take 16 minutes of time like they did last week. I complained about this on Crappy Hour, but last episode when Candy had her latest bedroom candy party, it was literally 15 real-time minutes of people walking into the party. I timed it. It started at 34 minutes after, and the show did not start to move forward until 46 or 47 moments after, and there was like 2 instances, 30-second instances, where people talked about anything, and everything else was montagey, jokes, taking photos, people walking in. And I'm only repeating this because I just feel like
I'm
it's
glad they didn't add it in this time, so you could add it in.
well, I'm adding it in. I'm adding it in because people
We
need to
finally
know
get a
why
break
this.
from this shit, and you made me just relive it all again.
Well, because I think that, like, I don't know. I like to think that someone from Bravo listens to this podcast. And you have to know, person at Bravo, this is bullshit. And this is why the show is faltering, okay? So thank you for giving us only a 2-minute, like, entrances thing for this mental health
Well, I'll tell you, I will
extravaganza.
focus on this because one thing I really have to give Drew credit for is she's really dedicated to that fanny pack. She has been making this fanny pack happen all episode. She's in love with it. So good for you, because I'm still thinking about it. Stuck with me.
Oh, I didn't
So
see it.
this is very healthy. They've got green juice. They've got meditation. They're going to do a drop it with Drew. I'm like, oh, really? Wow. So now we're going to make your sister's mental health breakdown about selling more of your diet plans. It doesn't work. Great. So the ladies all start to arrive. And I love when Candy comes up. They're like, green shot? She goes, no. Thanks.
Yeah, she's not about that. But we have everyone shows up, and significantly Ralph comes up. Ralph is not there when it starts, so Ralph shows up sort of a little bit later, and he comes up and he just goes and greets everyone, every single person except for Drew. And at one point Drew goes over to Ralph and he kind of like pivots away, and she gets like intercepted by like Keith or something, but he is just fully ignoring her, and she's like, hello, your wife, hello.
And she says, after date night, Ralph has been distant. Yeah, because he was trying to pretend he's perfect and you were calling him out on everything. Duh. You're supposed to pretend he's perfect or he gets furious with you and acts out. Are you new to this? Because I've only known you now on this show for 2 years. And I know you're married to a piece of shit, so run.
Yeah. So she's like, this is typical Ralph when he feels disrespected. Instead of speaking his mind and saying how he feels, he just acts so cold. I was like, yeah, leave him. This is not good.
So then Drew's like, okay, everybody, welcome. Dr. K has been helping my sister and her journey because, you know, my sister had some mental mishaps. And then Allison's like, love it. That's the new word, mishap. So here's my story. And I was like, what? Why is your sister doing, why is this about why are you having a retreat based on your sister's mental health? This is a weird party. And I've sat through a lot of Bravo weird parties. I like it.
I'm actually like really, I'm not, I have no issues with it, to be honest. So Allison says, she's like, well, you know, she talks about how she started having panic attacks and anxiety attacks, and that she was calling like 911 so much that they basically just put her in a psychiatric hospital where she was there for 19 days. And she says that this was like a gift and it saved her life. And this stuff really does work. So everyone like applauds, and Drew is like, yes, working for Drew Sidora did save her life, and I want to thank you, Allison, for giving me the gift of knowing that I saved your life. Anyway, if anyone would like to come work for me or just be around me or just want to hear how I get through my life, let me share my gift with you.
She's like, yeah, this is very important. Thank you all for coming to celebrate my sister's mental health. Let's do a drop it with Drew TM class. Okay, let's all go outside and do that now. Just gives me the ick, this whole thing. So then Marlo comes in and she's like, drop it with Drew. I dropped it with Drew once and it was a disaster. Let me see if that website's working. Oh, whoops, 404 not found.
I went onto the website last night. It's back up, but it looked like it was written. It looked like it was made in 1996, which is hilarious because Ralph works in quote unquote tech, nebulously in tech. And it's like all basic HTML. And you just sort of scroll down through this HTML. And then at the very bottom, it's like your cart, $152. It's like, oh, of course, it's like basic HTML, but they're going to definitely charge me money. Like before you go any further in the site, you have to pay $152.
Where did you even see Drop It with Drew? It's not even coming up in search.
It doesn't come up on SEO, which is hilarious. You have to do dropitwithdrew.com. I went to it. Oh, it's not even coming up anymore. I had to go drop it with Drew.
I can't. It doesn't come up.
If you go to the
when you
21
search it.
day, if you go at Instagram, 21 day drop it with Drew, and there's like this tiny Instagram that has like 5 followers. 508 followers, then
Okay.
drop it with Drew.
But it's
.com.
Get It Off with Garza Club.
Get it off with Garza Club.
Yes, you put in that web address, but then it redirects you. It's a redirect to something called getitoffwithgarza.club. So she's like an affiliate of something else that she's calling Drop It with Drew.
And it's literally like a high school website project. I'm surprised the JPEGs don't come in like line by line. And yeah, this looks.
Oh, Lord. Okay.
Yeah, it's terrible.
So she's still trying to sell you this. So let me go back to my notes. Okay, so next is the meditation studio. So now the men have their separate thing. The women are separated from the men. And
The men don't. By the way, the men don't even have like a separate thing. The men just have to stand outside and just like talk. They're just like hanging around, just waiting for the women for the rest of the episode.
And so the women go in and they have to take off their shoes. And Marlo's like, "Whoa, I don't even have socks. Like, why would I do that?" And they're like, "I want you guys just be quiet. Be in a search. Search yourself really deep. Think about something the world hasn't given you yet that would make you feel complete." And Sheree's like, "I'm very surprised by this mental health event. Looks very nice. That was my healing trip. So she was so inspired by me. Good job, Sheree. Good job, Sheree."
I'm sure I'm taking credit. So Sheree's taking credit for Drew, taking credit for Allison's mental health journey.
By the way, can I also say I've never heard of a meditation where they're saying, let's concentrate on something you haven't received from the world. What the fuck kind of meditation is this? Meditation, you're supposed to concentrate on what you have and be grateful for it.
Yeah.
What am I missing with this episode? I'm missing a lot. I get it. Go ahead. Take it on. Almost wrenched my face.
It does make you kind of pine for the days of just watching people walk into a bedroom candy party. So Ralph is outside. He's talking. He's like, yo, I know we're here for the brain, but like, there's a pool down there. And then someone named Kiana shows up. It's sort of random. It's like this woman shows up, and she's like, "You look nice, Ralph. You look like you're working." And it's just like a brief moment, but I was wondering if that was an allusion to like perhaps a lady that Ralph has on the side, or maybe we're gonna like remember her.
It was a skanky moment where he's like, "Hey, you look good," and she goes, "You look good also. Looks like you're working." Like kind of in like a "you're hot," and then they laugh. It's a gross moment. I don't know if
It's gonna be
anything's
like a
come out
thing
about this later or what, but
I feel like it's gonna be a flashback. I feel like it's gonna be a thing that like, remember that girl Kiana, and we'll see a flashback to like the meditation, and then we see Kiana coming in. I feel like they're laying the groundwork for a scandal.
yeah. So back to meditation. Candy was crying in the meditation, and she's like, "I really needed this because my blood pressure's high, my group is falling apart. I have friends saying I'm not there for them. We're doing this movie. Like, I just need some woosah moments."
And while Candy's going through that, Ross is asking Ralph outside how his lawsuit's going, and Ralph's like, it's one of those situations where like someone comes and like it's like somebody goes and like decides that they want to like try to sue you and like exploit you just because they feel like they can't. And then Heath is there, and he's like, "Yo, you gotta be careful who you let into your house, dude. It seems like y'all be catching hell with these assistants, bro." And it's like, Heath. Heath, Heath going strong with the black scent still. And I
Every
was like,
time.
I actually was like, wait, is maybe like I'm like, oh, he's going strong with the black scent, but maybe he's like, maybe he's not white. I was like, maybe I'm being the one who's
Did you
ignorant.
do that too? I Googled it
I
too.
was like, before I start, I was like, I don't want like I was like that because I don't want to turn around that now I'm being the one, accusing a person of color of having black scent, which is ridiculous. So I was like, wait a second, let me double check. But I did some research, and it looks like Heath is fully white.
No, I did. That's funny. I Googled it too because I was going off about it last week or the week, whenever the last time we did this was. And I was like, maybe I should like fact check myself. So I
But you know what
Googled it
though,
too.
it doesn't bother Manetta. So you know what, live and let live, I guess.
I mean, yeah, it's awkward. So then they have a lunch. Okay, so Drew is like, guys, thank you so much for coming to my mental health day. Because, specifically, Portugal, when we had that mental health time, I showed a moment of vulnerability and, you know, you guys said I wasn't feeling, you guys made me feel uncomfortable to open up, and that's why I ran. I was like, oh God. So now you're using this. Okay, so you're using your sister's mental health to sell Drop It with Drew, but then also as a weapon against Sheree and anybody who had to say anything against you in Portugal.
Well,
You are so full of shit, lady.
well, and also to like continue to try to elevate her like attempt to have like a scene in Portugal into like a moment of vulnerability when she walked out of a restaurant because she was emotional about being sued for $1,000. So
For not
she's like, I
paying
was being
somebody
vulnerable.
after they
Okay,
worked for you.
when your sister is here and is on national television saying that she spent 90 days in a psych ward because she was having breakdowns, and knowing that there's so much stigma attached to saying that, and you're saying, I had a moment of vulnerability, and your sister is here being the truly vulnerable person, like, fuck off, Drew. So Sheree,
Sheree's so good with this. She goes, yeah, I just didn't understand what was going on, and you explained you were having a difficult time, and I know that recently you went to court.
how did
Which is
that go?
hilarious because Sheree does not let her get away with this bullshit for 1 second. She's like, okay, so let's bring up the reason you were crying. You went to court recently. So then the drama music starts, and Sheree's like, how'd that go? And Marlo's like, did you win?
Was Judge Judy nice to you? And so we see 2 days ago, Drew was at the courthouse, like having like a press conference with like probably an assistant holding a tape recorder, and they're like, what do you feel would be the proper justice for you? And she's like, honestly, for just her to go away, to get this thrown out. But I think countersuing is a strong statement. So she just wants to countersue for this
She's
$1,000.
ridiculous. Also, they're dressed to the nines. Okay, they're dressed like they're in a national murder trial. Okay, and there's one photographer. It's one of their assistants that's
Yeah.
there, and the camera crew from Atlanta, and they're acting like this is the biggest trial. It's like the trial of the century. Drew not paying a nanny. I mean, come on. And also, someone pointed out, I was reading online, someone pointed out that in the argument where they were confronting her for the first time about this $1,000, and Drew was like, well, it's legal issues that my lawyer is taking care of. That's why I have a lawyer to take care of this stuff, and I can't talk about it. It's a legal case. And then they showed a clip of her in the after show, which I don't watch, but in the after show, she was saying, yeah, well, I represented myself, so I can't be too stupid, can I? It's like, oh God, you can't even keep your lies straight for 2 seconds,
can't.
man. She's like compulsive.
So, Cynthia, because Cynthia's there, by the way. Cynthia's back. Cynthia's making a huge impression. She's like, so what happened? I missed this. I didn't see this in any news outlet because it was that insignificant. And Drew is like, well, this girl wanted the opportunity to see if we'd hire her as a chef. And so she brought over pans of food, and there was hair in the food. There was like weave hair. And like, oh. And then we hear Ralph continuing the story to the guys. He goes, so she was like, what other opportunities do you have? And we're like, hey, we got an opportunity with like a nanny. Wait, what? If this person is failing the first test, why do you then give a test like, you don't seem to be a very good cook, but let's put you closer to our children. You seem
They're
like an
both
unreliable employee.
they're
But
both just fucking liars, and we know
they're
because we see
liars.
the receipt, okay, or we see what they're being sued for. So then Drew continues. We did another interview, and she walked in the house, and she got a plate. I mean, she wasn't really even interacting with the kids. And Ralph's like, yeah, it didn't work out. We were like, sorry, whatever. And then she sent us an invoice for $1,000. And we're like, what? And Drew's like, yeah. And she kept pursuing it. And then a year later, a sheriff shows up at my door with a warrant. And she had upped it to $10,000. And they're like, Courtney's like, wait a minute, from 1,000 to 10,000? She goes, yes. But thank you, Sheree. Thank you for asking. I really do appreciate you asking for the whole truth. So then let's just go over these lies that Drew just told everybody. So they put the invoice on the screen. Exhibit B, Sidora/Pittman. Did you read this, Ben? Did you look what
You
was
know
on
what?
this?
I think I may have forgotten. I forgot that I forgot to really invest myself in this. But tell me what was
So
on the
these
receipt.
two are full of shit. Okay, first of all, this is the first time that we've heard this whole story. Before they were making it sound like she was a chef. They gave her a trial meal and then they fired her because there was hair in the food, which is still bad because if someone's spending $1,000 on groceries for a massive meal, you see this stuff happen on like food competition shows, right? And there's not going to pay any of it. That's still shitty, right? So then we see this bill. So nanny, 100 per child per day, rate $300, quantity 2. So $600. Okay, so that's nannying. So that's 2 days, 3 children, right? Okay, so if she was so bad, why were you using her for 2 days? And why were there 3? How many children does she have? Does she have 3 children? No.
I think she has 2. I'm not sure.
Unless maybe she counted Ralph. So then maid service, doing laundry and assisting with other cleaning duties. That's $50 for 2 days. So that came to $100. So this is 2 days of childcare and 2 days of maid services, which, by the way, maid service for $50 is cheap. And that's $700. Okay, so the food part, the chef services, I shopped, cooked, and delivered hot food to feed 8 people. So they fed 8 people for $300, which is also pretty cheap. And you're not going to pay this lady for nannying your children for 2 days and feeding 8 people? Fuck off. You can't
Yeah.
do that.
And you can tell that this is not someone who's trying to like exploit the situation because she's only suing for $1,000. Like, I'm sorry,
Yes, and
it's
these
like
are
she's just saying
normal
this is what I paid for. You know, they probably would say these are all lies. But also, by the way, Drew said that the cooking test was that she brought in pans of food and there's hair in the food. What sort of cooking interview is that? Like, you have them cook in your kitchen. The whole thing just smells off. I am team whoever this person is.
Yes,
like, Drew
me
and
too.
Ralph are they totally owe $1,000.
Yeah, me too. So Candy's like, wait a minute, I thought it was 1,000. Now it's 10. And Candy's like, yeah, these stories are changing up. And Candy's like, okay, let's talk about the new year. Sheree, you had a dinner. I saw it posted on social media.
Yeah, and Shreya's like, oh yeah, I had some of my girlfriends that I've known for over 30 years. Marlo came, Courtney was there, Sonia was there. The lady who interviewed with Drew and Ralph, she came also. Known her for about 35 years.
We actually invited the hostess of the restaurant to sit with us because she was just so sweet. You know, it's only people I'm super, super close to.
Yeah. Long-time friendships. So Candy's like,
Literally
so,
none of those people she just named she's known for 30 years.
None of them. Candy's like, so did Sheree say she was inviting people she's known for 30 years for dinner, but then like Courtney, Marlo, and Sonia get invited, but I don't get invited? So you've known these bitches longer than you've known me? And Candy's basically like she's continuing to sense as she has all season that like no one wants to hang out with her anymore.
Right. They're trying to like basically kick her out of the group. But also Candy's never there. So Candy's like, Sheree said, well, you weren't going to come anyway. And she's like, but I was home. I would have come, actually. And Cynthia's like, so you're just saying that you wanted an opportunity to say no, at least.
Yeah.
Cynthia's like, it was just a small dinner and it was at Nobu. And that's one of my favorite restaurants. So when I see Nobu, I say, yes, boo. I'm like, well, glad we got Cynthia back. How'd they let that one get away?
When I see Nobu, I say you're all hired. I'll give you rooms in my basement. It's Heather Dubrow inserting herself. So then everyone just assumed Candy was busy, but Sheree does apologize for that, and then Cynthia says, "Oh, by the way, I do hear that your group is kind of split these days," which is funny. It's funny that they're trying to push a narrative that this group is split because to me, I'm having trouble tracking the feuds this season, and I'm having trouble feeling like there's one side versus another. I feel like everyone's just sort of generally sniping at each other. So Candy says, "Oh yeah, well Manetta told us like not too long ago that like basically Sheree, Marlo, and Sonia and Courtney are in an alliance." And Manietta's like, "Yeah, what was the word I used? Collusion. Remember I used collusion. I'm basically a cast member now at this point. Yeah."
This is what they've been doing all season, where they just keep passing the fighting stick. They're like, okay, let's fight about the Drew lawsuit. And Drew's like, no, I'm not going to fight about it. I'm just going to say everything's fine, and thank you for asking. Sheree, what about your birthday party that you didn't invite? And Sheree's like, I'm not going to fight about that. I'm very sorry that I didn't invite everybody to your party. So what about the Moneta saying that people colluded? And everyone's like, I mean, it's just like passing these boring fights that nobody wants to fight about. Nobody's even into this. They're all just fucking bored.
Yeah, they are.
And
So
just bring down the lights at this point.
let's give it 18 months off. Let's revamp.
Just
Okay.
bring down the lights slowly. Slow fade.
Let's just watch the pass, okay? So Manetta, she's like, yeah, well, by the way, Drew, your cousin Courtney called you a bitch, and because we see the grainy footage from the vacation where they were talking in a room, and that entire scene, I still didn't fully understand what that scene was about. They were just like talking, and so Courtney's like, I called who a bitch? I called who? Do you remember that? I didn't call anyone a bitch. And of course, she's denying it. And we see the flashback, and this is what she says to the group. She says in the grainy footage, this bitch even questioned me. Which is, I'm sorry, saying this bitch even questioned me is not the same as calling someone a bitch. I'm just saying that right now. No, it's not.
And they did a ding arrow pointing to Sonia, saying like, this bitch even questioned me about it. Like it looked like she was saying this bitch, referring to Sonia as her friend, saying it because they had a ding arrow pointing to Sonia. So it was to Sonia. Whatever.
Either way,
it's just stupid. It's a stupid fight.
Yeah, a climactic fight in an episode should not be based off of whether a friend of casually used the word bitch in grainy footage that happened after production put their cameras down. This shows the desperation to find something.
And Courtney's like, well, I definitely didn't say that, and we've had hiccups, but I would never call anyone at this table a bitch. And Candy's like, there is a divide. Even the cousin is divided right now, and she laughs. And so now they just get up to leave, and Courtney goes over to Drew, and she's like, Drew, I never called you a bitch. I don't even use the word bitch. And Moneta goes, okay. She goes, bitch, I didn't. She said, you just used the word bitch. She goes, I did. For the first time, I did.
So then they go outside, and the whole group is outside now. They're like, so Sonia's like, oh guys, group photo, guys. Like, okay. So Sonia gets in front, and Ross takes the photo, I think, or someone takes the photo, and Sonia undoes her jacket, and she opens up her jacket, revealing a T-shirt that says, I'm pregnant. But of course, no one sees it because they're all behind her. So then she's like, okay, everyone, I'm going to send the photos. I'm sending the photos. Okay, everyone. Okay, I just airdropped the photo to everyone. Okay, make sure you like the photo. Zoom in if just to make sure. Zoom in on your face or any other person's T-shirts.
Didn't she post it on Instagram? Wasn't that their thing where they're like, why does she have to make every single thing a social media moment?
Well, I don't know if she posted it on Instagram. Well, I think it's like whether or not it was posted on Instagram, it was like clearly she couldn't just tell them like, guys, great news, I'm pregnant. She had to make it into an event, a stunt, a surprise for the third time this episode. And I was like, and the fact that like no one was looking, like half the people probably didn't even look at the photo, and then finally she has to kind of like tell someone, she has to tell Allison like, so Allison, did you look at your face, did you look at my T-shirt, did you see my T-shirt in your face, mainly my T-shirt, Allison, anything at all, anything?
Yeah, I mean, to center yourself in someone else's event. She's like, all right, everybody, group photo. She gets in the center and like announces her pregnancy. My God.
It was tacky.
So, then we get to hear everybody, everyone's happy because like who's going to say, oh my God, fuck her. She's having a baby. So everyone's like psyched that she's having a baby. And Kenya's like, oh my God, I'm getting baby fever now. Can't wait to have a little Mark running around. So then Drew is now at home, right? Okay, so now she has a session, another mental health session, but this one's just for herself with Dr. Ken.
Dr. Ken,
Yes.
psychiatrist of the year or psychologist. So Ken is like, Drew says that Ralph has moved out of the bedroom and things have been downhill ever since date night, which is like, honestly, get the fuck over it, Ralph. And Dr. Ken is like, I was thinking, you've been in counseling with me for 13, 14 months, and a lot of times people back out of counseling. It's almost like canceling now that I say it. And Drew is like, well, Ralph and I have been married for 8 years, and in hindsight, we have been dealing with issues of transparency and faithfulness and of respect. Like, in hindsight, that was like literally like foresight and present sight and like very visual all around you. It's not hindsight.
It was like bowling night sight,
It's like
It's like
really
literally
like
just happened.
billboard site, like
Yeah.
everywhere sites.
So he's like, so how are things with Ralph? You guys went on a date. Have you guys started having date nights? I'm like, so she's not even going to therapy. This is just all a lie, as usual. It's only for the cameras. It's only when he's there that she acts like she's going to therapy. And she's like, yeah, and we did go on a date night, but then it spiraled into a disagreement, And I'm stronger now, and I'm willing to draw lines of boundaries. And he's like, well, now you're saying no one can gaslight me. You woke up. You will not be tumble dry. Those days are gone. Where does that leave your marriage now that you're being tumble dried? Now that you're being hang dried instead of tumble dried? Is anybody using fabric softeners in the marriage relationship of this
Seems like
example? It's like,
Seems like you're entering a very delicate cycle right now. So Drew is like, well, the emotional
you
awareness,
this issue enough.
the emotional awareness is lacking for Ralph, and I want him to care about me and my heart, and the movies and television shows and songs that I'm doing. And he's like, and is that your way of saying you believe your husband doesn't care about how you feel? Yes, I mean, I literally kind of just said that, Dr. Ken. Please keep up. I didn't get married to get divorced, okay? I got married so I could be on a TV show. So I'm always willing to try, but at what point are things going to turn around? I'm still in counseling, but he's not. Am I right?
Yeah, and he's like, when is enough enough? Pretty soon. Pretty quick, actually. Next time, Drew is like, the best decision I made was to do this movie.
Yeah, they're going to have a fight over her doing a lesbian scene, and then I guess Ralph didn't know about it, and he actually wanted to know about it because he wanted to witness that, and I don't know. So anyway, the season trundles along, limping to the finish line, but still, still doing its thing. So anyway,
still
thanks.
on TV. So
Still on
everybody,
TV.
thanks so much for being here. We will talk to you guys next time. Join us Monday, August 21st for our next Crappy Hour, 5:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time over on Instagram Live at Watch What Crappens. We will talk to you next time. Bye.
Bye.